Thank you. All right, I will call this meeting to order at 10 o'clock. I will read the land acknowledgement. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Ati-Wenderong, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? No? Then moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Linda has moved. Dave has seconded. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? No? Then that's carried. Adoption of the minutes of the meeting of October 28th. Can I get a mover and seconder for that, please? Ray has moved. Jonathan has seconded. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? No, then that is carried too. Moving on to correspondence. You put a couple of correspondence items on the list. At the last council meeting, this was last Tuesday, council passed memorandum PWCS-C 11/2025 regarding 8 Carlton Street parking lot extension update. I have a couple of comments regarding that. What was passed at council at the last meeting is not up to date anymore. There was a public meeting at the senior center yesterday, which was decided on at the last council meeting to present residents with options for this parking lot. The options since then have shrunk considerably because there has been news about what part of the park is actually designated. You might remember that last year in the spring, we were first presented with that proposal. We approved it at the time. About a month ago, I was made aware by a resident, actually former Heritage Chair Craig Finley, that there were stakes in the ground that seemed to encroach on the Heritage Park. When I then looked at that, it was indeed a lot bigger than what was first proposed. So I pulled the original designation bylaw and was quite dismayed when I saw that in that bylaw, that part of the park was actually not part of the designated area. Residents then said to me, no, I'm sure that's designated, but I was looking at a document that clearly said it wasn't. Well, last Thursday, I was given an amendment to that bylaw, which I was not aware of. The bylaw was passed in 2007, and I didn't move here until 2019. Most of city staff was probably also not at City Hall at that time. None of us were aware of that bylaw amendment. Well, now we are, and that land directly east of the existing parking lot, extending in a straight line down to Albert Street, is part of Memorial Park, and was then also declared as open space in a zoning bylaw amendment which followed. In this meeting last night, people were shown the just recent plan that everybody was very upset about, plus the new plan. A lot of people present still seem to focus on the plan which was now no longer relevant, and I just in case anybody is listening in, I just want to make sure that that plan is off the table. It's the new plan, not encroaching on any designated heritage land, which is the proposal. And as soon as operations was made aware of that, they agreed right away, then we won't build on that, just so that that is clear. a ramp that seemed to be a major issue of upset in the neighborhood from the parking lot onto Albert Street has also been removed from the plans. And there will be substantial new tree planting to supplement the tree growth that is already on the property in order to make the impact of this as little as possible. Any comments? No? Yes, Linda.
Sorry, I have a question. What is the parking lot going to be, the surface of the parking lot going to be?
It's probably planned at the moment as paved surface. As you might remember from our meeting of last year, I made the request whether they would consider permeable pavers. I still make that request both for heritage purposes and for environmental reasons. It could be a tryout project for the city. The future really calls for any parking lots to be permeable to reduce stormwater runoff and erosion and just covering our permeable surfaces with asphalt. It would be highly preferable, obviously, to have that option. It is considerably more expensive. But here's my proposal to council to please consider the additional expense for environmental and cultural reasons. I would imagine that maybe the environmental committee would like to make a suggestion like that as well.
I think they've already done that.
Okay. Yeah. Any other comments? No? Then we'll move on to council committees and boards policy. We already talked about that briefly in the last meeting. Justin informed everyone about the changes, and those changes were passed in report CL. Well, the report was passed by council in the last council meeting regarding the council committees and boards policies. Anything else to add to correspondence? No? Okay. All right, then we move on to financial. I have to admit I haven't submitted the invoice for the Remembrance Day wreath yet. I will do that this week. I know I promised that last time, but it's paid for. The invoice, it's paid for to the veterans. The invoice just hasn't been submitted to the city. Then I'm not aware of any other invoices that have to be submitted at the moment, but there will be a couple more before the end of the year, Justin, and one I can say for sure will be in January. Okay. Then moving on to ongoing business. Installation of history plaques for designated properties. All the ones that we ordered this year have been installed. I have since been I've been in contact briefly with Michaela Roper, who is the new administrator of the Thorold Museum. When she went through some of the museum correspondence that apparently hadn't been dealt with, she found an old unread email by a resident called Dorothy Jones, longstanding resident, who had pointed out a mistake on the history plaque for number 43 Welland Street South. On the plaque, it says that the purchaser of this property, which is called the Miller House, was James Miller, but she said it should be David Miller. I then went into the files of the Heritage Committee on the heritage site, and yes, indeed, the plaque says the purchaser, the house was actually built in 1876 for somebody else, but purchased in 1901. by David E. Miller, who was the son of James Miller. And it's called the Miller House because they were the most long-standing proprietors of that property. They owned it until 1992. So I wrote back to both Michaela and also left a message with Dorothy that this issue will be dealt with next year. Right now, we're hitting weather situations where we can't do that, but we will order a replacement plaque early in the next year, and as soon as weather permits, it will be replaced. The info about the house, the more extensive info about the house on the website actually states David E. Miller being the purchaser. It is just on the history plaque in front of the house that there is a mistake. Okay. Any other comments regarding history plaques for designated properties? If anybody knows of another house that has a faded one and needs a replacement, then please let us know so that we can deal with that. Okay? All right. Then heritage permit. Do you want to speak to that, Mark?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So both Nancy and I had an opportunity to speak with Nick yesterday regarding this. He is unfortunately not able to attend today. He's at a tribunal hearing, but we've asked Nick to basically give us all of his background information for this, and staff will kind of move forward with something. We anticipate bringing something to committee in January. Just giving you an idea of the new permit, heritage permit, and how it's all going to function. So we should have something in front of the committee in January.
That's great. Thank you so much. Any other comments? Nope. Then moving on to new business, St. John's Heritage Site designation. So we have to talk about timetable. Next year is only half a year, so we would like the designation to go through before the end of June, if possible. Justin said last time it shouldn't be a problem to have the ceremony after, but just in case there's a snag, let's plan for the end of June. Then it's off the table, and we don't have to worry that because of the election happening last year, this might, present a problem. So the council decided on their schedule for next year, and looking at the council schedule, there will be meetings on January 13th, February 3rd, February 24th, March 24th, April 14th, May 12th, June 2nd, and June 23rd. There's also 2 special meetings for budget on February 10th and 11th. I would suggest we don't bother council before budget is decided, because that's usually a busy and stressful time. And also I've been advised by the NPCA that their board will probably need time to review everything anyway. So our best dates for asking council to pass notice of intent would be either February 24th or March 24th. After notice of intent, 30 days of waiting will be required for people to contest this issue before the designation bylaw can be passed. And after the bylaw is passed, we have to wait another 30 days. So looking at, I don't, if at all avoidable, want to ask council to call a special meeting for any of these decisions. I would like it to fit, if possible, into the scheduled meetings. So if we pass, the bylaw should not be passed any later than May 12th, because that would ensure that by the end of June that the ceremony can be held. if we pass it at the next council meeting, which is June 2nd, 30 days later, we're already looking at July. So if council could pass the bylaw on May 12th at the latest, that would be great. Even if we pass notice of intent on March 24th, that would give about 6 weeks plus to draft the bylaw and have the NPCA review it. Mark and Nancy, do you think that's enough time?
I think it is. I mean, it depends obviously on the Conservation Authority. We put kind of the control in their hands, but I think when we send it to them, we can give them that hard deadline that we need the feedback quickly.
Okay.
So I think 6 weeks is lots of time for
Oh,
that.
okay, great. I should also mention that the report basically gives all the points that relate to the criteria necessary to designate a site. So that is already all done and can probably be taken into the bylaw almost word for word. So, okay, great, that's good to know. So let's shoot for February 24th, might be a little bit tight to pass notice of intent, but by March, I would imagine the Conservation Authority will have studied the report sufficiently enough to agree to our notice of intent. All right, any comments regarding this?
Madam Chair.
Ray?
Ray. What would be an earlier date than the February date?
The board of the NPCA generally doesn't meet much over the winter. So they need a staff at the NPCA has basically already said yes, but they need a board vote and decision on it, and generally winter is a bit of a hiatus time for them. So from what I understood, they will start to convene again in February, and that basically makes it difficult to move ahead with our formal steps earlier than that, apart from the fact that with the new regulations in the Heritage Act, everything also has to be completely finished. Well, everything, each step needs to be met within 120 days from passing notice of intent. So we don't want to pass notice of intent too early.
Yeah, I can appreciate. I'm just thinking that
Yeah.
trying to avoid another hiccup somewhere
Oh,
down the
yeah.
road.
What
Like-
we also don't want is a designation ceremony in March, for instance. It will be an outdoor event. You can imagine what the weather will be like, and this is a heritage landscape in the forest, so we're looking at snowy, muddy, icy conditions. So it would be nice to have it, in late spring, early summer instead.
Now you're telling everybody that that's going into the minutes, that you are saying it's going to be muddy and rainy and snowy?
Well,
What are you going to do if it isn't?
if it isn't snowing
know
in
I'm
March,
having a
well,
little
yeah,
fun
but
with
we
it,
have to
but-
basically plan on that it is. I mean, that is sort of the more, even if it's just raining, it's not going to be pleasant. So, a spring or early summer designation will be much.
All I was trying to do is to find if the.
Absolutely, and I
Give us
appreciate
a little
that.
extra room, that's all.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Councillor.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I just wanted to mention that maybe we should start speaking directly with the NPCA about an exact date of designation, like which time frame in the week, for example. Also, this is going to be a pretty significant dedication, designation, and we should make sure the time frame doesn't clash with any other events that are happening at the city. So now is probably a good time to start
Yep.
projecting which more specific timeframes would work.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I also thought since we might ask the NPCA whether they would like an Indigenous ceremony included in this designation. That site is used for Indigenous youth and has a lot of significance historically for Indigenous land use activities as well as settler history. So, but I leave that up to the NPCA and the Indigenous community to make suggestions how the designation will unfold. Does that sound all right to everybody? Yeah? Okay. All right. Now that we have looked at the council schedule and know approximately when we would like things to happen, I will get in touch with the MPCA, tell them our dates, and then ask them also what events they have planned for that time, so that it doesn't just clash with city events, but also with Conservation Authority events. Okay. All right, then moving on to the next project, which is the Old Lakeview Cemetery Cultural Heritage Report. It's well underway, says Sarah. And that designation, we don't know yet whether it can happen next year or whether it will need to wait for the year after, because what it depends on, of course, is whether the lands on which the cemetery is situated will be passed over to the city by then, or whether they will be still Seaway lands. So we will have to wait for that, but since the report is written right now, once that happens, we can then move very quickly. Comments? No? Okay. Then Heritage Awards. There are no more old awards outstanding, thankfully, but we also haven't given out any for any new ones for years. Justin brought up a point in the last meeting or after the last meeting, asking whether there are any guidelines and criteria for who gets a Heritage Recognition Award. I've asked former chair Craig Finley, and he said, no, there aren't. They have just always, more informally chosen people who have contributed in an outstanding way to our city's heritage. So we should come up with, I don't think we have to be as exact, Justin, as some of the other groups, but there should be some criteria in terms of what constitutes eligibility to get a heritage award. Just having a heritage home and look after it, I don't think that quite cuts it, because that is just general maintenance of one's own house. But there are others who have contributed outstandingly, not only in their knowledge of classic architecture and how to preserve it in a suitable way, and not just on their own property, but on other heritage properties here in the city. I don't want to name any names yet. We have somebody in mind who is very deserving, but I think, somebody who just goes out of their way to preserve our cultural, our architectural, and our natural heritage. What are your thoughts about the person having to be a resident of Thorold. Yes, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, through you, possibly to Justin, is this an opportunity to create a working group that comes up with some pointers
Yeah.
and brings it back to the
Yeah.
committee?
Why don't we do that? Who would like to work on that? Any volunteers? There's the councillor right there, Jonathan. How big does the working group have to be, Justin? 5 or less. Okay, so if it's 2, it's already good. So we already have a group. Anybody else who wants to join? I'll join it too. Okay? So, Tim, Jonathan, myself? All right. Oh, we have to have a motion for that? Can I have a mover and a seconder?
Madam Chair.
Ray has moved, Linda has seconded. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? No, then that is carried. Oh, Justin?
Yeah, and through you to the chair and the working group, I recommend you look at other municipalities who may already have this award in place, and you can just copy their or take a look at their guidelines and their procedures and processes as a start.
Okay, great, thank you very much. Now, if we can have that in place for the January meeting, that gives us 2 months, then we can vote on it then. Heritage Month is February. So if we have awards to give out, and we might, I'm pretty sure we will, then we can do it during Heritage Month, which would be nice. All right? So we'll maybe convene about what our timeframes are like, get together and get some points together. I'll also try and get some information from other heritage committees who, as Justin says, might already have something in place. Yes?
So then we would have to come up with the rules and then choose someone the same on our next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, sounds possible, but.
Yeah, I mean, we'd already suggested somebody last time, but we haven't had an award given out for years, so for this one we might choose 2 people. So, but we'll get our criteria together, and then the committee will vote on it at the next meeting. Okay? All right. Is that okay, Justin? All right. Then let's move on to work plan. Heritage Information Fair in March. That will be, one of our main topics at the beginning of the year. We had already said we'd like a slideshow that showcases Thorold's heritage. Also, we will obviously get a presentation together about the cultural, economic, and environmental advantages of heritage preservation, of any kind, actually. And try to persuade or, steer people gently into a direction of reusing our existing building stock rather than replacing. And also with a future view on possible designation of a district in Thorold, particularly our downtown district. In order to ever make that happen, we would have to get property owners on our side, and that will only happen if we seek, if we make sure that we have discussions about what that means, and also I'm sorry, I have a brain outage, but conversations are necessary instead of just imposing our ideas. We have to keep in mind that progress happens and compromises might have to be made, but maybe not just by us. So there is a definite advantage also for developers and the business community to use existing buildings to the best of their advantage. All right, so that will be obviously, apart from celebrating our heritage, one of the major topics at that particular meeting. And we should think ahead to the January meeting to maybe already have an idea about the agenda of that presentation. Okay, any comments, any ideas? And if any ideas strike you while we're not in a meeting, please just email me and I bring them up. In case you think you forget by the next meeting, then we can bring them up when we do get together. All right? Okay. Then, if there are no comments regarding that, then we're moving on to the Heritage newsletter, which was suggested by the councillor. That, again, will probably be dealt with either next year or maybe not until the next term. As I said, next year is only half a year, but if we can get a monthly heritage blurb into the city newsletter, that would be fantastic. Just reminding citizens of, the very important cultural and historic significance that Thorold has. Also, maybe making people aware of the environmental struggles that everyone, the world, is going through, and that such things as tree plantings are a great thing. And anyone who is listening in and is interested in helping out when there's the next tree planting in Thorold planned, then come out. I'm sure volunteers will be appreciated. That's part of our heritage too, to replenish the Carolinian vegetation that has been almost destroyed in this area. Yes, Councillor?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Why don't we start enlisting, or not enlisting, but gathering emails of residents who would be interested in having their name attached to the Heritage newsletter so that we can start creating a bank of people who are interested.
You mean not committee members, but residents?
Right. So on the Heritage Information Fair, we'll have people there who are interested in heritage. They may also wish to receive a heritage newsletter once it starts to go out. So at some point, we're going to need to start gathering names and email addresses as well.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to respond to that, but Justin?
So yeah, through the chair, as far as I understood, this was going to be in the city newsletter, and
Yeah,
it would already go out to those who subscribe to the city newsletter. So anyone at the Heritage Fair, tell them to subscribe to the city newsletter, and then they can get it that way.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that, Justin.
That was my response to you as well, because
Justin got there first.
I know. Okay. Any comments? Any further comments? No? Okay, then moving on to outstanding items. Does anybody have some comments regarding those on the list of the outstanding?
Beaver Dams Church, do you want me to
Yes,
comment on
please,
that?
if there's news.
Yeah, there was a scheduled meeting for tomorrow evening, but it's been canceled. But there is a reminder, there is a food drive, a mini Christmas market, and carol sing scheduled for Saturday, December 6th at 1 p.m. at the church. And they're asking, please bring a donation for Thorold Community Care, non-perishable food items, grocery cards, cash donations, gratefully accepted. And a truck will be parked in front of the church to collect the donations. Also, they've also sent out the membership card that members can fill in and get to them that day, so that they save money on postage and stuff. So, the Christmas market, dress for the weather, of course, enjoy a hot drink, browse mini Christmas market, and there'll be a short carol sing.
Okay,
Sounds like a nice hour to be there.
okay, great. Thank you very much. Just a quick reminder, last time I brought up Trinity United Church and their grand opening. As you know, the two charitable organizations, Mainstream and Gateway, who are in the process of merging into one, bought the building a couple of years ago. They have done some fantastic renovations in the modern additions in the back of the church, which is now their headquarters. The church will remain as is and used as a community resource. We've already gone over that too. It's all open now. They have moved in. Trinity United Church is therefore off our list of projects to follow unless something new comes up. The history plaque about the building is also installed in front of it. Okay, and it was a fantastic opening ceremony. Like the crowd that showed up was astounding. It was really great, and these are organizations that are doing a lot of good, not just for this community, but Niagara in general. It's fantastic when a historic building that does not fulfill the purpose anymore that it once had can be reused in this way. Okay. Yes, Justin.
Just through the chair, the organization who did move in just had a presentation actually at last council meeting about the organization and moving in. So if anyone's interested, they can see the video online as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any other comments? No? Okay, then we're moving on to round table. So now you, of course, you have to comment again. All right, Dave.
Nothing at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay, Jonathan.
Nothing at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay, Wynn,
Nothing from me, Madam Chair.
Ray.
Nothing at the time.
All right, Linda.
Nothing at this time.
Counselor.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say we're all thinking of Tom and wishing you a speedy recovery if you're watching.
Yes, I concur. And Ricardo.
Nothing at this time, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, and now to staff. Nancy, would you like to say anything?
Just thank you for the warm welcome, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone.
No one can hear you.
Just thank you for the warm welcome, and I'm looking forward to working with this group. Thank you.
Thank you. We're looking forward to working with you too. Mark?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
All right. And Justin?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Then our next meeting will be held on January 27th, 2026. And there being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned at 10:39. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, Linda?
I'd just like to wish everyone a very happy holiday season.
Thank you. The same from